Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Candice Rodriguez, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo! Hey, Candice.
Hello.
With our
Hello.
new look, where we're kind of spread out like this, as opposed to this.
Y'all,
Because after
tell Tom.
over 4 years, I learned today that we didn't like this. We like this.
Yeah. Y'all, am I right? Which
It
one's
makes my
better?
head look so much bigger.
Makes your what look bigger?
The other one, my head looked huge. I had the
I
biggest.
know. We all look bad the other way, but I don't know. Tom just likes everyone to see how his face up close. Maybe you have
Well-
really nice pores. You've been going and having
Well,
like,
you know, the loofah.
all right. That's making sense. I get it, Tom.
Yeah.
If you think you look good up front, how about can you just
if
make
I have this delusion that
maybe you could just make you big and make us small. Yeah. Is that good? Hey, Denise. So Dawn today was telling everybody, she even messaged me, Dawn Zapp. Oh my gosh, I love last time that Candice was not on here, but you had her in a meeting. She does always look good, Diana, but you might be biased, maybe.
a little bit.
Little bit.
You
But
passed
you're
me.
right. She does. I agree, though. She does always look good, even when she comes to our early morning meetings and she's telling me that she's trashed. I'm like, please, please.
So
So,
Denise asking a question about Made Central Live. Did I didn't say that, did I?
no,
Okay.
I don't think so. Did he say that? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I
think
was
so,
off my
though.
game a little bit because we were oriented differently, and it's going to take me a while to get used to this.
Tom, I think you've gone insane. You've lost your ever-loving mind. I don't know.
That's probably giving me more credit than I deserve. Like I used to have it, my mind.
I cannot wait to go. Yeah, you should go and get screenshots of how it's always been the other way, and send them to me. That way, I don't have to.
Is that a project that I should be like take the next 3 days and go back for the last 4 years and
That'd be
give
awesome.
you?
You don't have anything else to do. I mean, you're just
No,
hanging out
I'll
doing
put it in the
nothing.
PowerPoint deck.
Oh, okay. It says Made Central Live at the top of the page. Where? Maybe you're in Made Central. Is that a thing? No.
I don't know.
Where does it say Made Central Live? Didn't he take a screenshot? Show it to us. I don't see it. Dawn, she's so crazy. Look, she has the exact date, Candice. Yes, Candice was in our circle meeting on 5/5/23 a year ago. She talked about her employee retention program. So
Wow.
she found the exact date.
I don't remember what I talked about last week with people.
Oh, Dawn does.
Hey, Don, what did you guys talk about on 5/6/23 in your circle meeting?
Well, do you have to ask her? She will have an answer.
Yes,
She will.
I have a feeling.
And it'll be soon. Okay, so on Facebook, I think that means that you're in the Made Central. Do you have a Made Central Live page, Tom?
There's it's in the Facebook page, and it's like in Cleaning Business Today. It's like in Core
It's in a lot
Profit
of
Builders. It's all over the place.
Yeah. Don't know what to.
Oh, we'll figure that out later. I don't know.
Not a big
We got
deal.
more important things to do at the moment because we need to talk to
Yes.
Candice. Candice, how have you been?
I have been great. Thank you. And you?
Doing well.
Good.
All things considered.
Yeah. Flip-flop sandals and all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People don't know that about Tom if they don't see him in person. Are you wearing your flip-flops today, Tom?
I'm in the office. I can't do that because it's not part of the dress code.
Because Kyle would have a problem. Because how many people are in the office over there today?
3.
Oh, 3. That's more than normal.
Yeah, I was talking to Kevin. Kevin's over here today.
That's right,
Yeah,
Kevin.
a few people here. There's a few of the Castle Keepers leadership team. They come in every day. Made Central, it's me and Kyle. We're just kind of hanging out.
And so you don't want Kyle to see your toes.
Oh, and
I got you. I don't blame you.
there's a lot of ways, a lot of places we could go with that, but we're just going to move on.
Yeah, let's talk about managerial training.
Woohoo! Let's take it from the top. It's been a while since you've been on Smart Business Moves, Candice. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm in Houston, Texas. I am with NaturalCare Cleaning Service and NaturalCare Pest Control. I am one of the owners, and this is one of my favorite topics ever. I have worked really hard on in the last 4 years and have lots of growth in this area. So when you asked, I was like, yes, this I know. This I can bring to the table.
So,
oh my gosh, she froze. Look how cute she froze. Isn't that crazy?
she's just staying really still.
No, she's not. She's
She is
frozen.
frozen.
But
Okay.
look, that's what I'm saying. Some people are just
When I'm frozen, I've got this.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm always horrible. LOL, frozen. Yeah, but look how cute she looks frozen, Diana. Good job there, Mama. Made a good one there.
You know,
All right,
like
well, she'll come back.
when they take and make videos and they like get a thumbnail with I'm on it, I'm always.
You're never that bad.
Can you
Come on,
find
I'm
another
always much
thumbnail?
worse. You are not that bad. Not as bad as me. My mouth is always open. Oh, she had to leave. All right. Well, oh, hey, Brian. So you might have noticed that Candice is wearing a CPB shirt, a Core Profit Builder shirt. And that is because she was our first core coach, and she does some coaching for us, and she loves to coach managers. She really enjoys it. And I think that it stems from, I mean, when she gets on here, we'll ask her a little bit more about this, but I think it stems from way back in the day, she was getting some coaching. And initially, she was maybe a bit resistant. There she is.
I
Hello.
have no clue what happened. It just kept making circles for me.
Yeah, that's okay. You're back now. I was telling everybody about how you're coaching now, how much you love to coach managers, and how that I think one of the reasons is way back in the day when you were getting coaching and you were just a little bit resistant. And then when you got past that resistance, how, wow, things just connected for you and you were able to. Shannon loves being in the SFM. Good. We love having Shannon too.
What does SFM stand for?
Success for Managers. It's the circle.
Oh,
The manager circle.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we love her too, Brian. She's a good girl. Oh gosh, that's so bad to say. You're not supposed to call women girls. Sorry. She's a good woman. Yeah, sorry. Don't anybody vilify me, please. I'm sorry. I'm old. We said girls.
Yeah, you get a pass.
Yeah, just one pass, please.
Just flash your what is it? Senior citizen card. What's the where you become when you're a senior citizen? What's the association you join?
ARFA, AARP,
Yeah, there you go.
AARP, something like that. I look at her like a daughter. Oh, so see, you probably call her a girl too. Don't do that, Brian.
Yeah, Brian, you're digging a hole too, dude.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it. But would you say that's right, Candice? Because I know that we miss you too, Daniel. We miss you. When you went from you're a manager and you're just trying to do a job to, oh my gosh, I am a critical cog in this company, your mindset made a huge shift. And
Yeah, definitely. I would think that, all the years when I was just kind of being a manager, it took that moment where I saw the change and recognized what I was doing and all the learning kind of made a difference. I was like, oh, look, and it's funny. I was just telling the circle yesterday, actually, I was telling them about one time because we were talking about just managers and in general, how you impact your office staff and core. And I remember telling them I would walk in the door, go past the staff, go into my office and shut the door. I would say hello every once in a while, but I didn't want to talk to anybody. And I was a manager and I would just go in there and do my thing. And it just, now I was telling them how I remember doing one-on-ones with you 10 years ago and you telling me something and you still do it now. And I remember going, why won't Liz just give me the answer? And now I do it all the time. And I'm like, well, now I know why she won't give me the answer. She's making my little wheels tick. She's turning them. She's making me think for myself.
Yeah. But it does work, right? Once you
Yeah.
can think for yourself, you don't need anybody else to give you answers anymore.
Yeah. And I'm going to say the last probably 4 to 5 years, I've really blossomed. You know, I'm learning every day something new. I'm challenged every day, and I'm consistently in growth. Every day I learn something new now.
And that's so funny because you've been doing it longer now, but now you're learning more every day. Or back in the day when you thought you knew your job, you weren't. So Diana said almost this identical thing to me. Diana from More Hands, you know, in the SFM. She was saying how she thought she was so good at her job. She thought she knew her job so well. And she did. She'd been in her role for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, years. And now even the owner, Travis, is like, dang, you're like so much better at your job. But it's not because she's trying harder, working more, working harder. You just take on that new role of, oh, I'm an integral cog in this business. I drive things. I drive numbers. Things change because of me. But you have to have that click and understand where your impact is and how you impact.
I remember when I joined your owner circle, I was frustrated for 2 months. I was mad. And I was like, Chad, why didn't you say it like this? Why didn't you tell me? If you just said it like this, I would have understood it years ago. You know, so it took that moment of, I guess, hearing everybody kind of explain it different. Everything just kind of, I was frustrated. I was looking at every penny going, why are you going over in this home by 2 seconds? We don't go over.
We all know each other, but for the benefit of our audience, explain who Chad is and your mom and give a little backstory.
Yeah. So we're a family business. And so Chad and Diana and I all work together. So it's my mom and my dad and me. Chad and Diana really have stepped out of the light over the past few years. And as they do, I've taken on new responsibilities, trying to make their life easier. So my first thing was just taking things off their plate so they can enjoy, you know, their freedom.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit of time freedom.
Yeah.
So back to the circles, you were learning things that you had to go back and talk to Chad about.
Well, there was things that Chad had been explaining to me for years about, you know, the different KPIs, where the money goes and stuff. And it never really clicked. And I would always give him the exact same answer, because I think what happens is you just get into the rotation of your day-to-day task, right? You're doing what you need to do day to day. And when I got into the circles, I started learning more, and I started learning about the numbers in different angles, and it all started going together. Everything Chad had been, I always saw Chad nagging at me about, it all just kind of came together. And I remember walking around my staff and I'm like, nobody's going over on a single house at all, because the money all came together. I saw the money versus the man hours. You look at things differently. I learned, and I've been in this role for years, but it was just introduced to me different. I had different resources now, and I saw the money differently, and it really just started clicking. And now
connections. I think you saw the connections of the numbers. How this number changes, this number changes, this number changes, this number, and all of it impacts revenue.
Yeah. And now what I do is I really see, I set myself goals every quarter, areas that I'm working on that I see need more improvement. And sometimes you guys tell me, like when I brought up the skip rate, okay, it doesn't really need to be, it's fine. And then I go, okay, what else do I need to fix? I'm constantly looking at areas that I need to go and improve those numbers. Now that I know the overall impact. You know, we had our monthly meeting today, and we're going through the numbers and everything. And I see that, you know, the numbers that I'm in control of are also impacted by what my office manager does, what the trainer does. And so in order for me to get my goals, they have to hit their goals, and we're all kind of connected, and it helps me see everything a lot clearer.
So talk to us a little bit about that, Candice. I think that's another thing that managers don't recognize, that the owners need to work harder at giving the managers the understanding of how what everybody does is connected, and how they're not supposed to be responsible. They're accountable for a lot of stuff, but they're not supposed to be responsible for everybody's numbers, but they're impacted, and they have to get
Candice, you're coming at this from a unique perspective because you see it from both sides.
Yeah.
You know, as a manager, you probably would assume that an owner would know certain things and would know that you know certain things and would be assuming certain things. But knowing what you know, there's a lot of things that owners rather should know that probably don't, or at least they don't behave that way. Help us out. Where are the
Yeah.
gaps?
And what's super great about me, it's like I'm kind of like a unicorn, because I went from almost being fired by my mother to building and turning around to where I'm at now. So I remember at some point I just wasn't a good fit for natural care. I wasn't helping the growth. I wasn't there. I wasn't able to connect. I wasn't doing, like, I was doing my job, but I wasn't, the growth wasn't there. I wasn't going to make it to the next level. I was pretty sure she was having private conversations to fire her daughter, but we got past that. I learned, we grew, and now I'm here and I see it a lot different. So I get to be in the position where I understand things as far as like the office managers and how they process things and what they look like. And then at the same time, I get to see what Chad and Diane are looking for. And then the thing that I have to do is reword it and connect it together. Make it kind of connect where they see why and when. And for example, the Chad, I talked about going over time variances for years, would talk about time variances and teams going over on homes. And I was like, okay, they just needed the time. And then as soon as I took that time variance and connected it to the money and saw the money, I was like, oh guys, this isn't 3 hours. That we didn't just lose 3 hours. We lost this much money. And I just started connecting it differently for them. So I started almost, I don't want to say humanizing it, because it's not. It's just putting it down in a language where a lingo that they got too, so it's connecting it together. So I get to be in the special spot where I'm right in between Chad and Diana and my office staff, kind of like the sponge. Like I get to be the sponge of everybody, but then I get to help them grow, knowing now what I do and what Chad and Diana need in order to get growth.
So yeah, I love all that. I've seen all of that in you too. Can you make some connections for the owners? Like, what are some things that their managers, other than just make better connections? They got to make better connections with the numbers.
Yeah.
Can you
So
give them some specifics about what their managers don't know, don't understand, aren't getting?
So one thing I've learned is that whenever you have a person in this role, they're in the motion of going day by days, right? So they're just working day by day. They're doing their day by day activities to get the day started, to get the tech started. You get into routine, right? So you get into motions of it where it's hard for you to continue your growth and learn different aspects of the company when you're in routine. Right? You just kind of slow. So what I've learned is that where I started is with my own staff. Personal growth. You have cleaning techs, you train them, you put them where you need to be. Some will have better skills than other where you can make them a trainer. And then what? We stop with our personal growth. We just kind of go through it. And sometimes people will have like continuing education and stuff like that. But the second our continuing education went to almost weekly, that's when I started seeing the growth. So if the staff that you want, you have to create, right? You have to make that staff what you want. They're not going to just, people sometimes just assume that because they have a few skills that put them in an operations or manager or trainer position, that the rest of it's going to come naturally. And it's not. I've been in the industry for 14 years and I still come into positions that I have to learn and develop and grow and new things all the time. So continually having that growth has been a huge thing.
Yeah. Okay. So if we had to tell like the owners, make sure that you teach your people this thing, what would be one thing that we should make sure that they teach?
Oh, that's a good question.
And how, right? Because
yeah.
how of it is really hard.
Yeah, and that's actually a good question, but it's like hard to narrow down. Just because there's so much. Like, personal growth and development has been huge for me. But one thing I try to do and that I teach the managers is how to do this without the owners. right? Because my goal
Yeah.
in the position I was is owner freedom, right? I knew I wanted to take stuff away to gain responsibility so Diana and Chad could do other things, right? Because
Yeah.
I wanted them out the company so I can have it myself, right? So I had to do things. So I'm teaching the managers that how to do these things without their owners. Because what I want them to do is I want them to come to Tom and say, look what I developed, look what I did. So just learning how to do that personal growth and that development right there has been really important. The do it themselves, teaching them how to, go to the next level, which is hard without, you need guidance to do it. It took me a long time to figure it out.
And also, I love the point that you're making, that they do it, but the part that's hard is they don't feel empowered. So the owner has to empower them to do that, right? So Tom, can you give your example? I don't know if you've given it here on Smart Business Moves, but I know that you gave it at Foundations last time that we were there, where what you told Kevin, just kind of give that story about what you told Kevin about what you expected from him, what you wanted him to do. Maybe background on
Foundations was a long time ago, Liz. I'll give it a go.
Oh, month.
No. Kevin Kunkel is a friend of mine. We've known each other for a long time, and he's a very accomplished manager. And I was able to persuade him to assume the role as, director of operations, basically running Castle Keepers, because I'm kind of busy with Made Central now, and I just can't be at all places at once. So basically, Kevin is in charge of running Castle Keepers, doing an awesome job of it. And I told him that if he needs something, let me know, and I'll do what I reasonably can to get it for him. And it's like, as far as my concern, I've just got a few things I want you to be mindful of. That I don't want to go broke. The idea is that we're profitable at some level. I don't want to get sued, because that's just no fun. So we want to make sure that we're being mindful of litigation and stuff like that. And I don't want to go to jail. And if we can run this business where we can make some money, we don't get sued, and I don't go to jail, pretty much within those parameters, have at it. And he's doing a great job.
And look at you, you're not in jail.
Not yet, not today.
Yeah.
Not being sued and profitable. Yay. So, but that is hard for owners to do. I mean, easy to say, but then hard to do. You got to be really busy doing something else. Otherwise, owners keep jumping in. And I'm sure Diana could speak to this as well. She's been able to pull away now, but initially it's hard to just back off and let the other person do it their way, do the thing.
Yeah. And you know what I've learned is that one thing that I really push is that here are my end goals. Here are the end goals. How you do it? Okay, we can customize how we do it, but we have to have the same end goals, and the thing that I learned during the manager circle that we talk about a lot is I feel like when I started presenting trust to Diana and Chad, like, look what I can do, look what I'm doing by myself, and look how I'm thinking by myself, that's when it gave them the trust to back off. That's when they started giving me freedom. So if the managers are learning, like, if we're teaching, like, here's how you do it on your own, owners are going to trust more that this person can run their company.
Well, I think that's like a huge piece of the numbers. So I want to talk to this piece also. A lot of owners don't want to share their numbers. They're uncomfortable sharing their numbers.
Yeah.
And they think stuff like, but if they know that things look this bad or they're not great, they're not going to want to work here. We haven't found that to be true at all, have we? Minus those legal things. So true, Aja. So true.
Yeah. And I think that, I get the aspect of not wanting everybody to have QuickBooks, but I think in order to have that growth, numbers do have to be discussed. So the goals have to be the same. They have to kind of know where it needs to be and where, the goals are, and the growth and the not growth and the, areas like that. So I think a certain part of numbers do have to be shared in order for them to be able to take that and do something with it, to have the power to make those changes. Yeah. Yeah.
You got to have a measurement. Where are we going? What are we measuring? How will we know what success is?
Yeah. And I
So-
think if they don't feel like they have control of it, if they don't feel like they can do anything with it, it's not as important to them. You know, they have to see, I'm doing A, B, C for this number, and this is working and this doesn't work. So it gives them more empower to say, look at the number I'm changing.
And it gives that autonomy.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
It's
definitely.
like, okay, so I have a number, and we've all agreed, the whole company, Diana, Chad, you've all agreed what the number is that we're trying to meet, whatever it is this quarter. This quarter, we're focused on revenue. This quarter, we're focused on retention, whichever numbers that we're focused on. We usually teach working on 3 numbers at a time, 3 per quarter. But your job is to figure out, like you said, how we're going to impact those numbers. That's your job.
Yeah.
It's not the owner's job. And I think that's one of the key things that owners need to do is don't tell how, don't talk about how. So,
Yeah.
so Tom's example, right? This is where I want, right? Go here. And what you said, but not how.
Yeah.
In foundations, we talk about, who's the CEO of the business. In a lot of cases, it is the owner. At some point, the owner might not even be the CEO of the business. The CEO of the business is like the head manager in charge of everything, okay?
Mhm.
Ultimately. But most CEOs, at least publicly traded companies, they have a board of directors, and the board of directors represent the owners. So we're talking about owners and how do owners do something, but I think it's helpful to distinguish between owners versus managers, and CEOs like the head manager, and who is that? And at some point, and maybe Chad and Diana at this point, that they want you to be the CEO, Candice.
Mhm.
So they have to be the board of directors, and the board of directors kind of sets a strategic direction. This is, the board of directors doesn't want to go to jail. They don't want to get sued. They might have some opinions on what type of business we want to be. Hey, I think we can make money selling hot dogs. It's like, no, we want to stick in the residential cleaning vertical. That's kind of where the board of directors can be handy. But within that, normally there's some financial goals that are set, and then it's up to the management team led by the CEO to figure out how to make that work. Now, if the CEO needs something that they don't have available, the CEO can go to the board of directors and say, hey, we need to hire somebody that we don't have the money for, or borrow, whatever the case might be. The board of directors just doesn't go away for 3 months. But as an owner, if you can get that straight in your mind, what seat do you want to be in? Do you want to be the CEO, or do you want to be the board of the directors? But if you want to be the CEO, then you need to make sure that your managers understand that and what their role is in the organization.
And I would argue that no matter which one of those roles you want, your people need to know what numbers they're trying to hit.
Right.
Yeah.
They need to know what are the numbers that you want me to get to. So
and you've always said, I've heard you say before, Liz, everybody needs a number.
Everybody needs a number.
Every cleaning professional
Everybody
needs a number.
Yeah.
Everybody
And I
needs-
think within having that number, that control of that number, I'm constantly working on numbers, and I like things that I'm in control of. So if I have a number and a goal, but I don't have access to change it, or I can't do anything, it makes it hard to change those numbers. It makes it hard to work towards it because it doesn't feel like it's my number.
Well, and it isn't.
Yeah.
If you can't manage it, you can't control it, you can't affect it, then it isn't your number. It's somebody else's number, and it's fake, right? You have to be able to make an impact on that number.
Yeah.
So I think that's also another thing that managers need more work from. They need more help with. They don't know how to impact the numbers. Like they know how to do their job, the job that they've been trained to do. They know what the tasks are, but it takes us a while, doesn't it, Candice, to get people on board with the idea of what we call lead activities.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that are not your job, not currently part of your everyday work. They're not your to-do list. These are 1 or 2 things that you're going to do over the course of the next week that are we call them lead activities. It's an activity that's going to lead you to impacting that number. So teaching people what things you can do to move numbers, change numbers, impact numbers. A lot of people don't know what that is. Just like quick example. If we tell somebody that, or if they know, okay, well, my employee retention number is bad, right? I've got a retention problem. They're like, okay, we're going to work on that. But if we ask managers when they first come into our circles, how are you going to work on that? What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to hire more people and I'm going to put another ad in Indeed. I'm like, it's part, but what are you going to do that's different than what you've been doing? Because haven't you already been putting ads in Indeed? Haven't you already been hiring people? Yeah. And they don't know what else is on the list. Just showing them, see these 50 things? These are all on the list. Some of them are about not letting people leave, and some of them are about getting more people to come on, because both of those things impact your retention. Not letting people leave a lot of times is more important than getting more people. Now, not for all companies, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we find companies that they have a problem with. They don't know how to keep people either. I mean, they don't know how to bring on any decent people. But for the most part, they think their job is hire more people. And we are telling them your job is don't let people go. You protect the back door. And they're
one of my favorite smart business moves episodes was when Candice was with us and she was sharing how one day she just got so fed up with the turnover in her business that you basically just willed that change.
I was standing in the hallway of our office, and another office person made a sarcastic comment, and I was, it's a lot of, I was just getting in this role, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of behind the scenes work to get a new person on. And the numbers were all still kind of new to me, and I was frustrated. I was tired of that. And I remember just getting so irritated that I was just like, I'm done. We're making changes and we're going to make it stick. Yeah.
Yeah. And you did.
Yeah.
Started
really hard
having to make
retention. Yeah.
And figuring out what types of things need to happen and how you make things stick. So that's another thing that I think is really important. A lot of business owners notice that their managers are overworked, working too many hours, and they're tired, and they don't take enough vacations. They stay extra. We see that a ton. And it's important for the owners to recognize, I got a cough, hold on. For the owners to recognize that if the managers know how to do their jobs better and they have more control over their jobs and what they're doing, they don't need to be overworked and tired and exhausted. That they can come out of that, they can do more in less time. That's a hard concept. People. I know you hammer on them in the manager circle all the time about time blocking and watching their calendar, and don't put more on your calendar, even if, or on your plate, even if you think you have to get it done. No, you can't. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I've learned over the years that when you overslam yourself and you work too much, you're going to be doing, everything's just going to be okay. It's just going to be, you're performing okay. You're not performing the way the owners need you to perform. So then often the owners will say, oh, they're just not really doing their job. And, they're just not, we really focus on time blocking, and, which one thing I'm teaching them is how to delegate their schedule, where, Monday we're doing this, and how to work those hard projects and get what you need done. And I do. I always hammer them about their schedule and communicate, just that mastering the art of communication.
And they struggle when they first come into the circles, right? And any coaching. I know when you're doing your one-on-one coaching as well, Candice, that when you first start working with them, they're like, you want me to do more work? You don't understand how much I'm working already. I already am working so much, and I'm already so tired, and I'm already exhausted. And so a big part of the job in the beginning is teaching them how to stop doing all of that stuff and start doing just this stuff. Stop doing all that craziness.
Yeah, but then we have people like Diana, who then comes, not my mom, Diana, then comes on, and she now loves her schedule. She's learned so much. She's fixed her schedule. She's not overwhelming her schedule. She's learned to balance her schedule where she can have a peaceful, happy day. And the great thing is now she's able to take on other projects that she didn't feel like she was able to do before because she wasn't managing her schedule good. And so, it's just kind of learning how to balance everything. Yeah, it's a big thing.
And it takes a while. So all of you CBOs out there, it takes a while because initially they don't believe that it's possible for them to do something different. You remember Lexi?
Oh, yeah.
Man, that girl was working like 60, 65, 70 hours a week. And she was like, you're insane if you expect me to do a whole project now every week. I'm like, yeah, sorry, you're going to have to work on, you're going to have to do this project every week. She's like, it's never going to happen. And now she's like, yeah, I'm just working a regular day and working a project every single week, at least one, if not two projects. Right. So a big part for you CBOs to know out there is sometimes we can be seduced by seeing our people working so hard and trying so hard for us. And they're so loyal, and they come in early, they stay late, they do all this extra work, and we can get stuck as CBOs feeling like, are they just not doing a good job? Are they wasting time? And we start getting this bad thinking that we feel bad about. We feel guilty. I've talked to a bunch of you CBOs out there, doing a good job or not. She's trying hard, but she's putting out all the wrong fires, right? So busy stomping out fires so much of the time that she hasn't fixed the systems that are causing the fires. So
as a CBO, nobody wants that, right?
Nobody wants that.
What do I do tomorrow as a CBO to fix that, or to make sure that's not happening?
You got an idea for that one? Like one thing to start with? I wish I had hair right now.
Yeah, her name.
Tom, you too, right?
Candice is a great. It's hard when you're in daily routine, and when you get stuck. One thing that I like to teach is the positions that they're in, they need to be able to shine on the measurable points, right? Because sometimes you're not going to notice the things that they're doing because they're in routine, right? So teaching them how to do projects and how to hit their numbers and make measurable points for you. My favorite thing to do is I recognized Chad couldn't always see what I was doing every day, right? He couldn't see my growth and where I was working at. So I made a point when I was doing things to make measurable areas. I want him to see, last quarter, it may not have been the best, but look at where we're at now. So I make sure everything I do, I'm able to put a measurable point to it because it helps my self-esteem too. Because when I see my numbers changing, office people don't always get grand opportunities. They're not like the cleaning techs that get a quality form goes out, they get rated. They don't get those same kind of kudos. So I get measurable projects where I can present to Chad and Diana, here's what I'm doing and here's the growth. Aren't I doing a good job? Don't you like what I'm doing for you? And that's one thing we like to teach is just showing your owners how you can measure your growth when you're doing great.
All right, so I got two things for you based on exactly what Candice said right there. CBOs, tomorrow you can do these two things. The first one is make sure that your managers have at least one number that they can impact, and tell them what it is, where we want to go, have a conversation about that one number, How can they impact it? Let them tell you some ideas of things that they can do to impact it, how they think they can move forward. Don't tell them how, right? Tell them what the number is, and then let them tell you how. That's first thing. Pick a number and let them tell you how they can impact it. The second thing is, this is one of my favorite things too, is if you don't already have one, create one, a daily report. Now, this daily report, your managers can fill out, especially if you are a micromanager. If you're not a micromanager, this is less important. But if you are a micromanager, create a daily report. And the daily report, trying to think of all the pieces that it has in it, like 3 KPIs that they're working on. What are the numbers? What did they do today? What didn't they get done today? What didn't they get done? What are they thinking about currently? What are they working on? What are they thinking about? And I think the last one on there, Candice, is something like, what problems do they see coming down the pike, or something like that?
Yeah.
So that you can see that. And this report, they can create this report. They send it to you every single day, even if you're in the office with them and they see you every day. They fill out this report. It does a lot of things. And the subject line is just daily report and the date. And it does a lot of things for you. Here are a couple that you're going to love. The first thing is they get into the habit of looking at those things and thinking about the future of your company and looking for problems, so that you can have some confidence that you don't have to catch every single problem, because a lot of CBOs are like, I can't trust them. They're not watching stuff. They'll begin to. So that's one thing. The second thing is you can check every day to see, what did they do? What did they drop the ball on? Because CBOs worry about, what are they dropping the ball on? They'll tell you. I didn't have time for this. I didn't get this done. I wasn't able to get this done. You'll have that link to that. You'll be able to see it every day. And then the third thing, and this is one of my favorites, is once you get this report coming in every single day, you stop feeling the need to micromanage, because you have the report. You'll find yourself before too long not even looking at the report, because you don't need to, because now you have the confidence that the things are being done, and you can go in anytime you want and check the report. There's all the dates. So that's my second thing. And I did think of a third thing that I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was. It was really good too. Sorry.
When Candice mentioned that it's important that you have control over the thing that you're responsible for, sometimes we mess that up in a couple of ways. I use the analogy of, pretend that the manager is responsible for maintaining the temperature in the office at 72 degrees, but the only tool they have is a thermometer. That I know what the temperature is, but I can't. I have a thermometer. The thermostat is in the CBO's office. Okay. So if you want to fix that, first you need to move the thermostat out somewhere where, the manager has access to the thermostat. And the second part of it is the CBO needs to keep their hands off of the thermostat, because if they're fiddling with the thermostat too, then, the manager's never going to have an opportunity to get it right.
I'm looking up a book. I'm trying to remember the name of this book that speaks to this. It is so helpful. The Elephant, the Rider, and the Path book. Do you know which book I'm thinking of, Tom?
Doesn't click.
Elephant, Rider, and the Path. So this is an amazing book for CBOs that are trying to pass. Oh, gosh, sorry, that's so loud, y'all.
The Elephant in the Path.
That are
it's not teaching the elephant to dance.
On the reins. By Dan Heath. Is that ringing a bell, Tom?
No. What's the title? There was a book from the 90s called Teaching the Elephant to Dance. It was more about empowerment, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
No, I'll find it. All right, just don't wait for me. It's a great book, though. It teaches you, there are 3 different things, which Tom, you were talking about. It's like sometimes the path is the problem. Sometimes it's and in your example, that was the path, right? You think everything's great. You're just telling people what to do, and you got a great person doing the thing, and you got a great person thinking about doing the thing, but they actually can't do it because they don't have the correct tools. They're not on the right path there. So I'm trying to find it. Dan Heath, elephant. It's a great.
While you're doing that, I dropped a link to a video in chat. It was the cleaning business today that we were talking about the employee turnover and how you got fed up, Candice, and you decided to fix it. And I'm looking for the date here. It goes back a while.
All right, while you're getting that, the name of the book, y'all, is Switch. It's by Dan Heath. And the idea of this book is to advise the rider, steer the elephant, right? Steer them, and then shape the path. And that if you can do
Adriana got it.
You what?
Adriana got it. Switch.
Yeah. Switch. Yay. Good job. Thanks, Adriana. It is. Have you read it? Did you like it? Yes, it is called. Did you read it, Adriana? Did you like it? Oh, Ashley, also another good book, Who Not How. And it's an easier read. I think the Who Not How book is an easier read. It's not as prescriptive, I don't think, as Switch. And if you've read any of the Dan Heath books, and the Heath brothers, Chip Heath is the other one. They're good books, y'all. Read them all. Yeah, you'll like them all. Anyway, that's a great book. Okay, so I did have another thing that people could do tomorrow, but I can't remember what it is. I know I will. But Candice, how about if we wanted to do this piece? Oh, I remembered what it is. Y'all, right now, your managers are probably working more than 40 hours a week, right? And you know that they're working more than 40 hours a week, but even you think there's no option. We have no choice. We have to get this work done. I'm working way more than 40 hours a week, and I need the help that they're offering me. Take one of the days. My suggestion is Friday, and tell them that they are not allowed to leave past whatever time it is, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever time you know they're leaving late. Pick a day and make them leave on time one day a week. Just start that today. Believe it or not, that will, right? Where I'm right, right, Candice? That'll force them to focus on better things that they have to get done because they can't get everything done. They won't be able to. So they're going to be forced to work on more of the right things. And once they've kind of gotten that down a little bit, day number 2, nope. Now you can't leave past 5 o'clock on whatever day, Tuesday, right? Until you get them working the right amount of hours and getting more work done. So I'm not saying they're going to get less work done. They're going to get more work done. You just have to force it. And this is true for you CBOs as well, right? Tom, we've talked about this. If you're overworking, you're probably spinning a lot. You're doing stuff. You're not as focused as you should be. You're doing too many things that are not moving you forward. What's the thing? Motion, not movement, or
yeah, it's a lot of motion, but not enough movement.
Yeah, this is happening, but we're not moving forward. Right? We're really busy, not getting anything done. So
you're working too hard. You're not doing something right.
Yeah. And we do talk a lot about, in the manager circle, we talk a lot about the different types of fires, right? Mm-hmm. And not every fire has to be put out. Some fires are going to burn themselves out. Some fires, you should be glad that thing is burning because it's going to get rid of a problem for you.
Yeah.
Right. And so you don't need to put every fire out, and you shouldn't. And not sometimes, we also teach this. If you're putting the same fires out over and over again, you need to stop putting out that fire and figure out what's causing that fire.
Yep.
and stop causing the fire in the first place. That's a tough one. And managers get really good at putting out fires. And because going back to what you said, right, Candice, that because managers don't have a lot of opportunity or a lot of ways that you can see what they do well, there aren't a lot of measures for them. They like to put out fires because they feel good about themselves. They can say, look, I put that fire out. Look, I did that thing. I did. So it's a bad pattern and a bad habit because that's how we all do this to some degree sometimes, but managers can get stuck in really strong patterns of putting out fires, all the fires, or trying to put out all the fires. All right.
You know,
Could talk forever.
we are kind of pushing on the top of the hour here.
We got 7 minutes.
The video that I found, Candice, that you were sharing about the day that you just got so fed up with the turnover that you willed it to be different. I dropped the link. It was like March of 2022. So that was like over 2 years ago.
2 years
Can you
ago.
believe that?
Wow. Yeah, I can believe it. Yeah, I can believe it. Boy, you've made a lot of changes since then too, though, Candice. You've done a lot. Talk to us a little bit, Candice, about your one-on-one coaching. Like when you're working with a manager one-on-one and trying to, like, how does that work? What does it look like? What do you help them work on? You know,
It's just the what I mentioned about never stop learning. So it's continuously learning. There, we're going through and exploring different stress management. What is that? Is that a cat?
yeah, she's
fancy. So we're exploring different stress managements, different wellness practices. We're working on basically leadership essentials, the tools that they need. My favorite thing to do is measure, like finding those measurable points. I know for me, when I was in that position, you lose the feedback. Clients aren't giving you feedback like the techs get, right? So I like giving them projects that are measurable and projects they can bring to the table to go, look, I'm making growth. Look what we're doing here. And a lot of it's just working with a lot of them is just working with the insecurities they have of taking that next step, working with them on how to manage their schedule. A lot of times their schedule is chaotic because they don't know how to do a schedule. They don't know what to do next. So it's exploring the different things they can do to add ease to their schedule, how to time block, how to manage it, how to unleash that inner boss person in you.
I like that. How to release that inner boss, right? Our managers are bosses. They're in charge and they have to do the things.
Yeah. We were having our meeting last Tuesday and talking about how they feel about their roles. And majority of them mentioned how they feel like they're learning to be the core of their companies. The foundations, the core. And a lot of them mentioned that they know because they're basically the center of the owners and the center, they're the glue, the techs, the owners, everything that goes, the techs. So they're starting to feel like they're the core of the company and have that personal growth.
Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
So if somebody wants to know more about the manager's program and how to, next steps to find more about that, I went to Core Profit Builders and found a link and clicked on this. Is this where we go?
Yep, you can go there to get into the manager circle. You can also go to the coaching. I don't know what it's called under coaching. Go to courses. Yeah,
one-on-one or one-on-one.
One-on-one. And you can sign up. I think that the page is still jacked up though, isn't it? But Candice, can they go to your Facebook page too?
Yeah, they can send me a message too. And, another great thing about the circle is that a lot of times it's just you and the owner. That's the ideas you have between you and your owner. They're having tons of resources here. They have a ton of different people that are all throwing out different ideas. We take a topic. We've been working on client retention. We label, here's all the basic stuff that everybody's doing. Let's think outside the box. What else can we add to fix client retention? What else can we do? So they're getting a ton of resources too.
So I dropped the link to Core Profit Builders in chat. And the next couple of minutes we have here, want to share. This is something new that we put out that you can get to by madecentral.com.
Oh, Dawn Zap. I hope you're on here. You're going to love this because it looks like made the smart business
/events. I'm going to post that in chat. This is a calendar of all the good stuff that we're doing. We got smart business moves on here. We got partner profiles on here, which is something that Aja and I are doing a couple times a month.
I haven't heard of it. What is it?
Oh, it's where we take a Made Central partner and we spend an hour talking to them about how they use Made Central and what the things that they've done with Made Central to improve their business.
Nice.
Not sure why it wasn't here. It was supposed to be here. The foundation series is going to be on here as well. We announced that. We did a webinar earlier today. Once a month we do a webinar on the core KPIs, and we were talking about the foundation series. That's going to be on here as well. Everything that Liz and I are doing together, or it's happening in Made Central, or anything else should be on here. We just want to put everything on there. This got educational stuff going on, webinars, live streams, so forth, to make it easy. And this will sync up with your calendar, so it'll give you a reminder when this stuff is happening.
Don, it's madecentral.com/events. That's where you go to get the calendar.
Yeah, I thought I dropped it.
You'll love that. I love that too. That's amazing.
Yeah, I dropped it in chat. She
had put her message right below that, so that's why I told her again. So, yeah.
One other
woman. Speaking my little German for that little German girl over there. All right, so that is great, Tom. I love that. What's your next event that's coming up?
MadeCentral.ai is an event that we're doing in Chicago. It's on the 10th of June. It's a full day stuff just on AI. Last Wednesday, Alvin was our guest here, and we had a lot of fun doing AI stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a day of that on the June 10th. It precedes ARCSI regional event. It's going to be on a Sunday, the 9th of June. So sign up for the ARCSI regional event, and then sign up for the Made Central event too. And it'll be 2 awesome days. But the link to this event is madecentral.ai.
Is that going to be at Gosha's?
It's going to be at Gosha's. And not only is it going to be a great event, but the food is going to be awesome, because whenever you do an event at Gosha's office, the catering is out of this world.
Yeah, so good. So true, so good. I know. I'm looking at my calendar right now thinking, can I make that work? I don't know. All right. Well, Candice, thanks so much. Is there any last things that because we're out of time, that you want to say before we head out?
No, if anybody has any questions or anything, they can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll gladly respond and chat with them and go over everything.
All right. Great.
So, no, let's try not to let 2 years go by before you do this again, okay?
I know. I was when Liz asked, I actually said yes, and then I fell asleep at 8:30, so I didn't get to say anything besides that. So the first thing this morning, I'm like, I gotta curl my hair. Tom, and I was waiting I was like, what time is it where Tom's at? I'm just gonna message him now.
Yeah, we've been doing Facebook Messenger all day today.
I had no idea it'd been 2 years because I see you all the time. So
what's so funny is I was just thinking the other day, I was like, when is Tom gonna ask me to be on his thing again? It's been a minute. The universe
slacker.
I'm sorry. We won't let it go 2 years again, I promise. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and call this a wrap, and we'll be back next Wednesday, 5 o'clock Eastern. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.